before we move on to the future, let's briefly look back at this loss to the Cardinals. What was your takeaway, particularly with those penalties?
Okay, so we can start with the penalties, of course. Nothing kills the drive like penalties. That's nothing new. There's nothing novel to what I'm saying there. Seeing the progress that the offense was making as far as plays and things like that, and to have 30 yards of holding on a single drive, you'll never win. You will not win on that drive, at least. So it's something they have to clean up. And the holdings were egregious, too. There was really only one which I think sprung the play, and that was the McGlinchey hold. McGlinchey has got to clean those up because he had more than one holding call in this game. So that's bad. That was a horrible game for him. I mean, that kind of game put tape together, which honestly, for me, makes him a draft bust. That was my impression. And I've never been down on McGlinchey, but I acknowledge his weakness. And at this point, I think they need to move on from him. That was a bad game.
Would you like to see Jalen Moore out there?
I mean, at this point, why not get someone else reps?
Why not? Yeah.
So yes, I would.
Okay.
The Benjamin hold, I don't understand why he's being featured so much. And that hold was unnecessary. Lance is a big guy. He's hard to tackle. I have some things to say about that as well. But that was terrible. The holding calls were unforgivable. So didn't like it.
Yeah. Okay, here, real quick. This is what I want to say about this game. It kills me. I think the Niners were in position to win it. When Dante Johnson forced the fumble and they recovered at their own 46, down 3, with 8 minutes left, 8+, the game's in your, the momentum is totally swung to you. You should get points on this drive, and it should end with you at least tied or winning. And Kyle, after the game, basically blamed his players for not executing on the next 4 plays and admitted that's where we lost the game. We needed to get something there, but what we did on those plays will really haunt. I don't know if he said it'll haunt me or whatever he said, but I didn't like his calls. First down, drop back pass. Why? Second, incomplete. Second, he calls 3 drop back passes in a run in that series. All 3 drop back passes are incomplete. The run gets 6 yards. Dude, what are you doing? It's a perfect situation to run. You haven't trusted Trey Lance to throw the ball all game. You're calling quarterback power. You call quarterback power one time in that series. It gains 6 yards. You go pass the next 2. What are you doing? It's the same thing in the Super Bowls. Exactly. Why are you passing? Why? It's a run-first team. That's how your offensive line is built. You don't trust any of your quarterbacks to throw. Dude, just run. And in that situation, you were afforded the ability to run because of the time and field position in the score. And it just kills me that he did that and just says, well, they have to execute. That's how they lost.
Yeah. Also, there was another thing that happened here. I do not like all of the 4th down failed conversions. I don't like all the 4th down calls. When you're 4th down and 4 and midfield, roughly, and the defense is having this titanic day. I mean, I have a lot of notes on things, especially in the secondary and then the linebackers that I would like to see cleaned up by the defense. But all in all, this is the air raid offense. It's a high-powered offense. They've got the wide receivers and the running back, the quarterback that they do. They did a good job of containing these guys, all things considered. This was a Herculean effort. Why did they not call a game in the classic football way? Who goes for 4th down so many times and fails? I understand the one at the goal line. And when I saw that, I was even kind of like, all right, cool. I like that. Shanahan is finally, he's trying to punch it in. He knows he needs points. I know you need points. But on that day, you did not need to go for the 4th down so many times. The point momentum swing in the Cardinals' favor from failing on 4th down made it easier for them to tag this game. And that was just, it's like getting outside of your coaching zone as Shanahan. That's not how you call a game.
It's true. He's never called a game like that before.
Every 4th down, you go for it. Punt
if he hadn't gone for the 4th downs, when they got the ball back at that point in the game, they would have been up 3. They basically, I mean, assuming they made the kicks,
absolutely,
they gave up the opportunity to kick, so they would have been up 3 with the ball at midfield. And the other thing is
the yardage, the time of possession, the points that are scored to the reciprocal of their actions. That's how the Cardinals won. So the Cardinals, they had this one gift wrapped. It's almost like Shanahan came in there and said, "Oh, my defense, my offense, man, they're gonna hang 40 points on us. We have to go for it recklessly." And the next thing you know, you're in a classic Cardinals Niners game of war in the trenches, and Why go with 4th on 4th? That was
Yeah.
that, to me, what lost this game was the coaching. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
And excuse me, DeMeco Ryans, not you, the head
Kyle.
coach.
And finally, I mean, it was the 5 4th downs they went for, but the final one, 4th and 4. So I keep coming back to those 4 plays. When you get to 4th and 4 at their 48, you punt and trust your defense because they've played well all game. But the problem was it shouldn't have came to 4th and 4. They ran on 2nd down and got 6 yards. Elijah Mitchell was averaging 4.8 yards per carry. If they run on 1st and 2nd down, most likely they get to 3rd and 1, or they just run for the 1st down. Like they should have been running the ball. They should have been much more confident with how they were calling plays. Instead, they start calling drop back, no play action, just pure drop back. Why? You're not down 15. Why are you in drop back passing mode? It doesn't make any sense. It's like he's lost his mind.
I also was not a huge fan of all the power runs that they called for Trey Lance, the up the middle runs and things
Imagine
like that.
how effective play action would have been in that situation.
Yes, because it softens the gaps, like the A and B gaps. It absolutely softens them up because it keeps people honest by keeping them in their assignments.
Yes.
Like you hear the term, stay in your lane, bro. That's what it would have forced people like J.J. Watt, for instance. And even still, when I go back to the McGlinchey and J.J. Watt holding, that is okay, he's not the best lineman, but he's actually a result of the play calling by the head coach that puts him in the position of where he does commit holding calls like that, because of the fact that they're, as you said, they're not doing play action and things like that. They're not rolling out as much.
Right.
So they're forcing a mobile quarterback into the pockets and calling runs up the middle, which do work sometimes. Kaepernick could do it. Lance can certainly do it. He's really good. But just keeping him there, that's completely ineffective.
Yeah.
I also was not a huge fan of was that a wildcat formation to Juszczyk or something? What was that direct snap thing they did?
It was awful. I don't know.
I saw
whatever it was, they didn't practice it very much because they didn't know how to execute it. Whatever they were trying to do, they didn't know what they were doing. Sorry.
And that's not.
It might have been a good idea, but Kyle, these guys couldn't execute it.
Yeah, this was not a lack of. Did you say that Shanahan? I did not see that conference. Did you say that he kind of insinuated there was a lack of execution or effort?
What he said, someone said, when Dante Johnson, after the game, when he forced that fumble, did you kind of feel like you had this, like you could win the game? And he said, yeah, and what we did in the next 4 plays, I forget exactly what his phrasing was, but he made it seem like the execution was the reason they lost on those 4 plays. When it's like, dude, I don't like your play calls. You went 3 passes and a quarterback run, and the run actually got you 6 yards, the 3 passes got you 0. Why are you passing? Same thing is in the Super Bowl. There's no reason to pass given the situation here. It's not what you guys do well. You're supposed to be a run-first team. You don't believe in your identity.
There was lots of time as well. This kind of like hurry-up offense.
And if you're not doing a run, it should be play action. I'm sorry. Like shotgun. And the first play, if I believe, it's shotgun with Elijah Mitchell in the backfield, and he motions out. So it's empty. It's like, okay, well, we're passing – or it's a quarterback draw. That's basically the 2 things. It's a pass or a quarterback draw at that point. That's it.
Another thing that also stood out to me in this game is one time Trey Lance fooled me, whether he was going to hand it off, pass it, or run it. One time. Yep. And the rest of it was televised massively.
There was no misdirection.
Not at all.
Kyle Shanahan used to be the misdirection king.
And he'd look out into the flats. The ball would not be in a position where he was going to pass it. Now, that's on him, but it's on the coaching to get him in the position to where he is not televising what he's going to do. But also the motion that Kyle Shanahan is known for, the misdirection, he doesn't give that to Lance. It's kind of like, okay, Lance, I'm going to give you a check down that you're not going to pass to. I'm going to call you a run up the middle. And the routes your receivers are going to run, you got one option. And so that's the thing is, like, this was not even Shanahan
him
style
saying
game.
He's not ready. He can't handle all that chaos. That's what he said.
I think he can.
I think he can, but Kyle is so conservative. I mean, he didn't think Jimmy Garoppolo was ready to play in 2017, and then Jimmy came on and played and pretty much ad-libbed his way to a 5-0 record.
I feel there is a reason for that, and that is the fact that if you look historically at the kind of quarterbacks that Shanahan has had, I almost feel he has like some kind of PTSD from RG3 or something like just studying the film back then and the evolution of his coaching tree, essentially. It seems like ever since then he's had. I mean, I know there's arguments for and against Matt Ryan. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not against him, but he's never had someone like Trey Lance. He's never had a Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or a Russell Wilson. It's almost like he is used to coaching the Hoyers out there.
Yeah, the backup quarterback. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so his game plan is wild.
If you think about it though, real quick, when he first got into when he first made a name for himself as like a 20-something-year-old offensive coordinator in Houston, he was with Matt Schaub, who was Michael Vick's backup for a long time in Atlanta and finally got an opportunity, and Kyle made him look like a real Pro Bowler when really Matt Schaub was pretty much a backup. So that's his history.
Shanahan's game plan is not about his quarterback. It's about the other pieces of offense he has: misdirection, play action, and a really good run game that does not just rely on power. And so that's the thing. It's like the quarterback is like, okay, your job, just do what I tell you. Don't think, don't improvise, don't try to be Tom Brady. Just do what I tell you and dump the ball in this guy's hands. And so that seems to be. I mean, I still feel this would work with Trey Lance. I think it would become deadly with Trey Lance, but he's still calling a Garoppolo-style game. Yeah. Minus, of course, the runs up the middle, which do not really sit that well with me. And I want to get to that knee at some point while we're talking today, as far as like why it flared up after. But, of course, no one here is going to have the misnomer of how it happened. It's because they caused so many runs up the middle and put him in harm's way. And they turned him into like some kind of running back.